Check one, check two. Welcome, world. Welcome to the world. Welcome to my world outside. Welcome, everybody, to the program. Welcome to the program. My name is Marcus Conti, and I am here. Through the fog of Hare Krishna, I am here. I am here for you. I am here for you, with you. And, yeah, man. So how you doing, everybody? Yesterday was a good program. We were talking about the youth of America. Are they lost? Are they more aware than we are? Today, it's interesting, the war in Israel, Hamas versus the Israeli army and the whole fucking free world, the whole West against Palestine, this war that's going on over there. It's fascinating, but it's not a new war. This has been a conflict for 60 years, 70 years in America. There are people who have been screaming from the rooftops that the Zionists have taken over Israel. It looks like the Democratic Party, to say Zionist is also to be anti-Semitic, anti-Jew. When you say Zionist, the Democrats are now trying to redefine Zionism to mean that if you say, oh yeah, there's a fucking Zionist, it's not the Jews, but the Zionists, that's also anti-Semitic. So everything's anti-Semitic, and everything is anything that flies in the face of the truth that's going on in Israel, or anything that opposes the propaganda coming out of Israel from Israel, is considered anti-Semitic, and that's unfortunate. Rashida Tlaib. Now, love her or hate her, she is a congresswoman from Minnesota, I believe, and she is one of 4 members of the Squad. People hate her. They hate her. She's a Palestine, fucking sympathizer. But she said some good things. And interestingly, Tlaib called for a investigation into the nature of the bombing of the hospital in Gaza. Right? That's all she said. She said that historically, the American government is not truthful in times of war, telling the people what actually happened. And there's plenty of cases and points. For example, Russia hacked the election for 5 years, and it turned out to be absolute unequivocal garbage. Vaccines will save the planet. Turned out to be the opposite. It was actually hurting people, some people. Or for example, the incident in Germany where the Americans blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline because Russia was providing Germany with natural gas at a price. And so the United States, along with the British Army, blew it up and then blamed Russia for doing it. And it, of course, logic suggests, why would Russia blow up their own pipeline? There is no logic to it. And it turned out that it was the Americans and probably the British as well who blew it up. And so the point is that there's a long history. That's only 3 examples, recent history, of the American government lying to the people. And if you don't toe this party line, if you don't agree with the consensus, what we're telling you is true. We're telling you, motherfucker, right? Listen here, Mr. America. We're telling you that the bomb in Gaza was shot by Gaza, by Hamas, and not Israel. Right? And you have to believe that. There's no questioning that. Because if you question that, especially as a sitting congresswoman, you're considered a threat. Right? So it is interesting. The point I'm trying to make is that Rashida Tlaib is questioning the integrity of the United States military and the United States military-industrial complex in its actions in this hospital blow-up, right? And you've got the same quacks like I'll show you Sean Hannity saying that, oh no, you got to believe everything. All of a sudden, now you have to believe the United States government after they lied to you so many times about everything, about Iraq, anything war-related, the United States has lied to. So there's a movement right now in Congress to censor Rashida Tlaib. And again, love her or hate her, it doesn't matter. She's saying simply there should be an investigation, and the Zionist Jew and Jew supporter and snowblind, fucking gaslit Jew in America is going to protest that and suggest that she should be kicked out. And so anyway, we'll look at that. We're going to look at that fascinating story. There's other stuff going on too. Look at the markets. Markets are going to looks like it's going to open down. Google reported missed their earnings yesterday. The big earnings were Google and Microsoft. Microsoft beat it. Google didn't beat it. See how Google got slammed, 140 all the way down to 130, and Microsoft went up from 130 to 140. All right, so Microsoft is up 15 points at the open. So we'll see how that balances out. Apple, no change. Amazon, no change. It looks like Facebook is going to report as well. Ahead of that report, no change. Tesla was up, I believe. No, Tesla's flat. It was up yesterday. All right, so the big story right there is Google missed their earnings, meaning that their AI business isn't what we thought it would be, and so we'll come back to that at the open. It's about 20 minutes away, and So there's my thumbnail today. There she is, Rashida Tlaib. She's a Palestinian. Right? Her parents, mommy and daddy, were Palestinian. She ran for Congress here in America, and now she's a representative of the great United States of America. And she is suggesting that we should investigate the nature of the U.S. government's involvement in this particular incident, because there's no logic or no sense why would Hamas blow up their own hospital. It's such a line of shit. And it just doesn't make sense. Right? It does seem that right, they're saying they're producing video. Oh, we have video evidence of a stray bullet flying out of Gaza and landing in Gaza. Right. They're showing like the tapes. You know when they say, "Oh, we saw a UFO." Yeah, there's a UFO, and then you watch the video, and it's just like from some random fucking dot flying around on a black background. The same thing. Right? There is no evidence. There is no video. It is. It does seem rather clear. Right? So, but that's the lesser point. Right? Rashida Tlaib is not saying that Israel blew up the hospital in Gaza. She's saying that it smells fishy and we should do an investigation. Right? That's all she's saying. And should we? Should we always trust the fucking CIA, the FBI, the NSA, and the rest of the military hacks that counsel Joe Biden on what to do next? Right? Of course we should. We should always challenge them. So that's Rashida Tlaib. My name is Marcus Conte. I have a website every morning at 9 a.m., Monday through Thursday. We are live somewhere. Today we're on YouTube, and hopefully we'll remain on YouTube. YouTube seems to be doing the right thing here, not hacking people off. But again, we're in an election season, so if you disagree with the narrative, you'll probably be cut off. All right, and that's what is that? That's government pressure on big tech. if government says to censor those motherfuckers that don't agree with us because they're a national threat, Google's going to turn around and use YouTube to shut people down. They did it before. They'll do it again because they have a gun to their head. So if that should happen and we have to bounce to Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, DLive, Facebook, Twitter, wherever, probably Twitter. Twitter's looking better and better these days. So I have a website, and as I said, if I'm ever not around, just come to marcusconti.com and you'll find me. Because I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here and still be here. So let's talk about just a follow-up from yesterday. We talked about with a college professor who has, on the ground experience with young people. And I argue that this generation is not any different than previous generations. And I think the professor argued that this generation is a little less, or maybe greatly less interested in academia, right? But here's a story. I wish I would have brought this up yesterday. Maybe next time Dr. Conti's on here, we'll talk to him. Beating the odds: how students stand out and get into Harvard. Right? So now this is the opposite of that, right? There's kids that are obviously lazy and don't give a shit. But here, you're looking at the people that apply to Harvard and Stanford, right? They're almost always academically perfect. They're almost always straight A students that get into these schools or score 1,600 on the SAT. Right? So they're smart kids, right? But that's not enough anymore. Right, so that's hard to do. If you think getting a 4.0, or straight A's in high school is easy, try to do it. You only get one shot to do that. Or you need the insight, right? You need that insight to say, I'm going to motivate myself to be a great student so that I can get into Harvard, Yale, or Stanford. Or you can score 1,600, which I believe is a perfect score on the SAT, and no one gives a fuck anymore. It doesn't matter. But you could see how these kids are clearly. It looks like the universities are okay with above 3.7 GPA, 3.7, 3.8, as long as you have other curricular activities going for you, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is that not all of the university students are dumb and lazy and not willing to participate. It seems that there's extremes now. Or maybe we could say that the only valid merit-based academic programs anymore is the Ivy League, and the rest of it is garbage, right, you might say. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that there are some students still out there, young people, that aspire to be really super academic, right? Not in between. Nobody's interested in the middle anymore. It's either I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to sit here and smoke weed and take up space. Or I'm going to do everything I possibly can to beat out the next guy. I'm going to get a perfect score on the SAT. I'm going to get all A's, and I'm going to be the president of the newspaper and the fucking cheerleader team and the football team and everything. Right? I'm going to do everything. So those are the extremes today. Right? It's a rough bag for kids. Another story here. Mark Meadows. Right, so you remember Mark Meadows? He was the chief of staff for Trump 2020, and he is now being granted immunity. You could see how the feds are flipping friends of Trump to testify against Trump. So Mark Meadows was granted immunity. Right? What was he threatened with? Is what I'd like to know. Mark, if you don't go against Trump, we're gonna fucking come after you. Right? Something like that, right? So Mark Meadows has immunity, has prosecutorial immunity, which means that he can never be prosecuted for anything related to the things that he's talking about, Trump related, right? And that's a little scary, right? Because this guy is now going to turn on Trump. Watch Mark Meadows turn on Trump, right? He's going to testify because this cocksucker right here, Jack Smith, has got his pole up this guy's ass, saying basically, that was too graphic, but you know what I'm saying. This guy is getting this guy is the top and this guy's the bottom. That's the better way. This guy is screwing this guy, right? And he's like, man, all right, I give. Just go easy on my ass. So Jack Smith gave Mr. Mark Meadows a good screwing, and now that screwing is going to tally into testimony against Trump for whatever reason. Yeah, Trump lied. He said the elections were real and they were fake and they're all bullshit, right? All bullshit, right? So that's the immunity. We whatever you say is good. Immunity. I just unwound that. So look at a sexy soldier. Let's get into the war. Let's get into the fog of war. This is the fog of war. A message to women all around the world from Israel.
Everyone, my name is Elia and I'm combat paramedic in the Army of Israel. It's already 12 days that we are in a war. I want to tell you about my job. I'm paramedic and I'm saving life. Here in my unit we have 600 men and I'm the only woman. I know that my job is really important and I'm here and I'm happy to be here. I want to say to all the women in the world that we can do it, that we are able, that we are smart and beautiful. Be safe and pray for us. Amen.
Wow. How about being in combat with her? Oh my God, man. Share a tent. You share a tent, right? So anyway, man. So what was I talking about? Yeah, so I don't know why I played that, but it's because she was a sexy war person, right? She's got a gun, right? Sexy woman with a gun. Oh man. So here's the top story. Democratic lawmaker says Congress should consider a vote to censure Representative Rashida Tlaib. Right? And who is this? Who is this fine lawmaker? Well, his name is Jared Moskowitz. Jared Moskowitz, he is a congressman from Florida. And what? A Jew. Look at the colors. Look at the colors Mr. Moskowitz picked. It's fucking Israel flag. You might as well be looking at an Israel flag with the light blue and the white. The Jew. Moskowitz leads 21 members, 31 members. Right? So this is who the guy is. He's some Jew from newly elected Jew in Florida. Is saying this, right? He's leading the charge. Now look at before we do that, look at the spin, right? It looks like New York Times, Washington Post, NBC News, ABC, NPR, AP, CNN, BBC, all of them are promoting a video, a bullshit video. This bullshit video right here. Look at this bullshit video. Yeah, this is evidence that Gaza is fucking blew up its own hospital. Stray bullet. Right. If you believe this garbage, right? I don't know. No, who the fuck knows what you're looking at, right? You're looking at nothing. You're looking at it looks like asteroids, like space invaders, like a fucking TV, like an arcade game. Right? Nobody knows what it is, right? Because it's nothing. That's what it is, right? So anyway, so that's the news. That's how the news is spinning it. All of the news is promoting the idea that Israel did not bomb the hospital in Gaza. Hamas did it. Hamas did it because they don't know how to shoot straight, as Joe Biden said, right? And that it smells incredibly fishy. It smells exactly like Russia hacked the election. It smells exactly like the Russians blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and it sounds exactly like you should wear a mask and stay 6 feet away from each other, right? Because you're going to die, and you better take the shot, or you're going to die even faster. All right, that's what it sounds like. So here's what we got: Democratic Florida rep Jared Moskowitz, as I said, a Jew, couldn't be anything else. Moskowitz. Tuesday, that House lawmakers should consider a vote to censure Democratic Michigan Rep Rashida Tlaib over her refusal to accept U.S. and Israeli findings, concluding that Israel wasn't responsible for the bombing of a hospital in Gaza. Right? Could you imagine? Refusal. Look at the allegation is that she refuses to accept U.S. and Israel findings, right? Concluding the crimes that they're committing in war, or the acts of war that they're engaging in. Remember, Israel is engaging in a sanctioned war with Palestine, and the United States is connected to Israel in every single way, financially, maybe even militarily now. Of course, militarily. We're selling them the guns, the bombs, the planes, all on credit, I imagine. So it's a U.S.-Israel war against Palestine. And Palestine has no chance, no military capability to beat those two incredible enemies, right? Two powerful enemies, right? Right. So but the striking thing here is that she should be censored for refusal to accept U.S. and Israel findings. Refusal. You don't accept our findings? How dare you? How un-American are you? Right. But it's the same as the elections are rigged. No, they're not. You must accept our findings that the elections are not rigged, that the elections are fair. And if you don't, then you got a fucking problem. Then we need to kick you out. You're not allowed to challenge governmental, alphabet fucking agency decisions. Right? That's what's happening, right? So whether you agree with Israel and its actions against Palestine and the Americans backing it, or you agree with Palestine and the consequences of what they're enduring, whatever your position is, you got to agree. You got to agree that Tlaib's questioning of the military providing this information is valid, right? You got to. We saw it again. We saw it with Russia. Hack the election. We see it with the Nord Stream 2 pipeline blowing up. We've seen it with throughout the COVID nonsense, how the government consistently got it wrong or deliberately got it wrong to manipulate the consensus, right? So Tlaib is nothing really more than calling for an investigation. So Tlaib, a member of the far-left squad, a House lawmaker, on Monday, called for an independent investigation into last week's bombing at the Al-Baba Arab hospital in Gaza City. Now, people are saying, it was in the parking lot, only 10 people died. No, look, nobody fucking knows. Last week it was 500 people dead, now it's five people dead in the parking lot. No. You have to do an investigation. You can see how the story is changing, right? The story itself is changing. How many people died? Did they blow up the hospital? I don't know. The Palestinian side, Hamas is saying 500. We don't know. So an investigation would be appropriate. Right? At least we'll know, right? We'll know, or will we ever know? I don't know. I don't think so. So Tlaib said, Ali Hospital, alleging the U.S. and Israel both have, quote, long documented histories of misleading the public about wars and war crimes. Now, is that a true statement? Is that a true statement? Does the U.S. and Israel have a long documented history of misleading the public about wars and war crimes? Of course they do. Of course they do, right? She has on at least two previous occasions blamed Israel for the bombing. Well, again, you could have an opinion. I would say that Israel is probably the suspect. If I was in law enforcement right now, the suspect is Israel. Israel is the suspect because I'm not buying these little stupid videos of bombs, white spots flying around on a black background. There's no logic to Hamas blowing up its own hospital. Why? To say, oh yeah, they did it just to win support. That's bullshit. That's total bullshit. Congress is unified in its support of Israel, says the Jew, Moskowitz. I continue to be disappointed in members of Congress who are not willing to listen to the U.S. intelligence and listen to the Biden administration, goddammit. Listen to them. These are integral government fucking people, man. You got to listen to them, right? Should we listen to the Biden administration and U.S. intelligence on fucking war? I don't think so. Who have, because of their wretched history, their long documented history of misleading the public, Iraq, fucking bomb, weapons of mass destruction. This goes back. That's 20 years. Go 40 years. Vietnam. Oh yeah, the North Vietnamese are siding with the Chinese Communist Party, and we need to blow them up so that the South can join the democratic fucking world, right? Sorry. That was bullshit. Right? The whole Vietnam War was based on bullshit. It was based on misunderstanding of what was happening in Vietnam. Vietnam was split north-south, had been for 4,000 years. A jerk-off, American president didn't know the history of it, and he equated what was happening in Vietnam with the overthrowing of little countries by communist superpowers. It was all bullshit theory, and it proved to be nonsense, right? But the fog of war goes all the way back. The misleading of the deliberate, sometimes deliberate, and or maybe not so deliberate, gaslighting the American public to believe a certain thing. Right? So Congress is unified in its support of Israel. Both the White House and the Israeli government have determined that the explosion was caused by a misfire Islamic Jihad rocket from the Palestine side of the border. Great. So let's do an investigation and find out for sure. All right? Now that you're on the record saying it, then there should be no problem. Let's just do the investigation, and that the investigation should confirm what you're saying. The independent investigation, right? No problem, right? As Ms. Tlaib. Islamic Jihad is a smaller, more radical Palestinian terrorist group that often works with Hamas. Israel officials also said several dozen people lost their lives in the blast rather than 500. So Israel is saying, no, it's just a couple of people got whacked in the parking lot, you got to find out who did it, right? You got to find out who did it. Not so much. You have to when the United States government is unified in saying that Hamas did it with circumstantial evidence, very, very shitty circumstantial evidence on the table, then you gotta support an investigation. You just have to. All right, so there's no proof of that, Moskowitz, who is a Jew, said of the 500-person death toll. All right, so if you don't believe there was 500 people, Mr. Jew, Moskowitz, then you should be celebrating Rashida Tlaib's wanting to have an independent investigation into who blew up the hospital. But that's I think the bigger picture is this is the tone in Washington. To merely suggest that the United States government is fucked up, is a imperialist, militarist nation, right? That's willing and has blown people up in the past. To point that out, and point out some of the lies that they have told over the years in times of war, is somehow a crime. Worthy of losing your position. I just fundamentally disagree with that. So let's look at how Hannity spins it. Rashid should be expelled says Mr. Hannity. Let's listen to Hannity spin it.
Team. That's the guy identified as the guy who hates Israel to begin with. Here with reaction, former senior advisor to President Trump, Stephen Miller, podcast host, Tudor Dixon. Tudor, your reaction. I'm calling it the Hamas caucus because even with all the evidence, there you have, groups of Democratic congresswomen.
Now, the irony there is remember what Hannity has said throughout his whole career, right? Hannity recently said that the elections were rigged for Trump, right? And demanded that we investigate, demanded that we look into the validity of the elections. He was right about Russia did not hack any election. That was the Democrats doing themselves, right? So Sean Hannity has been clear that you should always question government. But now he says this.
Even with all the evidence.
Even with all the evidence.
Because even with all the evidence, there you have, groups of Democratic congresswomen, the squad out there propagandizing on behalf of Hamas.
So Sean, you believe that I can't even believe it. I can't even believe he said it.
Propaganda of Democratic congresswomen.
Oh, son of a bitch. I lost it. I'm sorry.
It's a perfect tag team. That's the guy identified as the guy who ate the Hamas caucus, because even with all the evidence, there you have, groups of Democratic congresswomen, the squad out there propagandizing on behalf of Hamas. Can you explain that to me?
Well, with AOC, I think it's pretty simple. She's a useful idiot in this situation. Rashida Tlaib is dangerous, but I'm thankful for the First
Rashida Tlaib is dangerous. Why is she dangerous?
Amendment, because we know exactly where she stands. Anti-Semite is too nice of a word.
All right, so now the smear to question the integrity of the United States government, who have again this wretched history of lying in times of war, is to be an anti-Semite.
For Rashida Tlaib. This is a woman who has made it clear she was celebrating on October 7th. She wants Jews to be killed. She celebrates the murder of Jews. And my question is,
ridiculous.
Where is the rest of the Michigan delegation? Because this is a woman who is in a powerful position. She's a leader in the Michigan Democrat Party, and yet I haven't heard Gary Peters condemn her. I haven't heard Debbie Stabenow condemn her. I have heard...
Condemn her for what? Why don't you bring up the point? Condemn her for what? For suggesting that we should investigate and look at who blew up the hospital? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Hannity? You're letting these people get away with this shit on your program?
Heard Haley Stevens.
No pushback?
Condemn her. And when Haley Stevens was asked, she says, well, those people can make their own decision, but I've told you where I stand. Wait a minute. You have someone in your own party who is standing with terrorists, who is standing with people who go in and murder people in their homes in an allied country. You are okay with
this lady gets right under your skin, right? She's this is Israel derangement syndrome, right? Because Israel is the promised land of the Jew and the Christian, right? And the Bible says so. And they were holding hands 2,000 years ago while Jesus was getting nailed to the cross. And someone there screamed out that Israel is the shared property of it's the Jew, but the Messiah is coming and Jesus is not the Messiah. So we're going to kill him and we're going to wait for the real guy. And there's all the evidence you need that Israel belongs to the Jew. Some kind of whack story like that historically, right? Forget about that. They're there now, sharing the property. It doesn't matter. But this is the fucking arrowhead of this whole argument, right? It's visceral disagreement and blinding support of Israel. And now everything the fucking intelligence community in America and Israel is saying is now, according to Sean Hannity, is now true. How dare you question it? How dare you? Right? And then
with that, you are not going to condemn your colleague. I am calling on the Michigan Democrats to come out and say they do not accept this. They do not agree with this. They are glad they know where Rashida Tlaib stands, and they want to make sure that people vote against this kind of rhetoric.
What is your reaction to this, Stephen Miller? In spite of all the evidence, they're still out there spewing.
All the evidence. Hannity, you did the deep dive, huh, Hannity? You did that deep dive into all the evidence surrounding the bombing in Gaza. And in 6 months, we'll find out that, of course, Israel bombed the fucking hospital. Of course, the United States covered up on it, just like Nord Stream, just like the fucking fake election, the theory of hacking an election, and just like COVID.
In their lies, demanding investigations when there's no need for one.
No need for an investigation, says Hannity. No need. We don't need. We got all the evidence we need. What more do you need?
I mean, how do you describe these people in Congress and what should be done?
These people. Look at this guy. I remember this guy. This was Trump's larky, Stephen Miller.
Well, first of all, they are regurgitating the propaganda of the butchers and barbarians who murdered, raped, brutalized, and kidnapped innocent Israelis and Americans.
Is Stephen Miller a Jew? Let's find out, Stephen Miller, Jew. Is Stephen Miller a Jew? Stephen Miller. No, let's find jewelry. Jewish? Question mark. Miller was born, where is he? Three children of a Jewish family. He's a Jew. We found him. This is called Identify the Jew. Right? So Stephen Miller, the Jew. Listen to that rant. Listen to how we start out, man. He's fucking pissed. Listen, fucking Palestinians. They hate
brutalized and kidnapped innocent Israelis and Americans. That is a moral stain on the Democrat conference in the United States Congress. And Rashida Tlaib should be expelled from Congress for continuing to provide sympathy and support and ideological comfort to the Hamas.
Sympathy and support. That's called an opinion, you jackass. She has an opinion. She has an opinion. As a congresswoman, she has an opinion and she's voicing it. And many people, like this reporter, agree with her.
Barbarians that have savaged innocent Americans. American blood is on the hands.
What does that have to do with an independent investigation to who blew up the hospital? If it turns out Israel blew up the hospital, that would be pretty bad, right? Because only a savage and a bloodthirsty motherfucker would blow up a hospital. Maybe because they think their enemies are in there or there's something hidden in there. But the likelihood of Hamas blowing up their own hospital is slim to very slim. The idea of Israel blowing it up because they thought somebody was hiding in there or they were after something is more than likely. Right? So, but do the investigation and let's find out. Who can do is there really independent investigation? Would we believe anybody at all in this time of war? I don't know. I see people in the chat saying that as well, that there's no longer an accountability. There's no. I think I agree with that too. Who would actually? Who is independent? Who? The British? Let's have Iran do it. Let's have fucking people in Syria do it, or how about Ukraine? We'll have Ukraine conduct the independent investigation into who blew up the hospital in Gaza.
Hands of Hamas. I think this comes down to the fact that you have a strong movement within the Democratic Party.
He said, "You have a." Did he say "you have a"? It sounded like he said that. I thought he said "you have a." You have a.
Hamas. I think this comes down to the fact that you have a strong.
You have a. Let's see how it does that. Let's see how the
Americans. American blood is on the hands of Hamas. I think this comes down to the fact that you have a strong movement within the Democratic Party that is both deeply anti-Semitic and deeply anti-American and anti-West. And so they are going to side with the terrorists, and they're going to side with the entities that house and support and shelter the terrorists against what are perceived.
These are all wild conspiracy theories based on nothing really.
As American interests, American lives, and American allies, and it is absolutely revolting.
All right, so another super Jew. Let's see what Vivek Ramaswamy. No aid. Oh, watch out, Vivek Ramaswamy is going to get pounded. Saying no aid. to Israel until we have these answers, until we have some answers on this stuff. Let's listen to Vivek.
So my view is if the U.S. is going to provide aid in this situation, then it's up to the U.S. to ask Israel some questions about what exactly are the objectives in Gaza? What exactly comes after Hamas in Gaza?
Right. That's a good question, right? What is your end game in Gaza? Well, Vivek, they've already said it. They want to exterminate the Palestinian people. They're not giving them an out. Right now you have it's not an open-air prison anymore. It once was, meaning that the 2 or 3 million people in Gaza are surrounded by a fence. And if you try to get through that fence, maybe an entrance, you'll get shot, right? And there's no water, food coming in, and there's no power, right? That qualifies not as a prison, but a concentration camp, where there's also terrorism everywhere, bombs blowing up, people getting fucking, set on fire and blown up. I want to say this. Here's the problem in America. Right? Here's the problem. America, you have never, I'm an American, you're an American. If you're in America watching this, we as Americans have never in our lifetime, with the exception of some scattered terrorism, ever had a bomb blow up in the house next to us. A missile from a foreign entity blow up and kill people, right? Or a tank roll down the fucking street and blow something up. In my lifetime, I have never experienced that. I have never experienced the real fucking war, right? So get your head out your ass and sympathize with what's going on over there. Right? The Palestinian people are getting fucking pummeled, right? Try to put yourself in that position. Try to put yourself in an apartment building in Gaza, and the building next door gets blown to pieces, and there's nothing left but fucking debris and dead bodies, right? That'll change your mind, right? That's what's really going on in war, right? And unfortunately, Americans haven't had it yet. Is it possible that in our lifetime that will come to our doorstep? I don't think it's not only possible, but I think it's inevitable. I think it's just a matter of time before these great United States experience a foreign invasion of that sort. You could say, well, 9/11, they knocked down the buildings. Well, that was minor. We're talking about ongoing assault, ongoing fucking war, right in our homeland, right?
Gaza. So what I've said is no aid to Israel, at least until we have clear answers of what exactly are the objectives of that ground invasion, which I have serious concerns about. But for now, that's Israel's decision to make, not the U.S. or anybody else's to get in the way. But if the U.S. is going to fund it or get involved, then we have to answer those questions. That's where I'm at, Lauren. I've been very precise about that.
Mm-hmm. I frankly trust Israel's judgment better on this stuff than I do Blinken and Austin and all the rest. But
she trusts the Israel hacks more than the American hacks. Right? It's not saying much.
In the last hour, Brett Baier had an interesting segment with Democrat Senator Chris Coons and Republican Senator John Thune.
All right, so I'll leave it there. Vivek Ramaswamy is siding with the dirty. We're down. So ding, ding, ding. Forget about all that Israel shit, man. Let's talk about money in America, man. Where's the money, right? So here we go. We're open, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 26. The Nasdaq is down 189. That's a significant move down. And why is it down? NVIDIA down 6 today. Google down 12 on missed earnings, down 9%. Google stock down 9% right now. Apple down 1.5. 2.25 points. Amazon down 4. Facebook ahead of earnings down 5. Microsoft beat earnings slightly, up 12. So mixed technology, 4 out of 5 technologies are down. Tesla down $1.50. Rivian down 5 cents at 17.38. I still think that's moving into buy territory. I don't think it goes below 14 or 15. I think that now, again, up. Excuse me. I'm almost done. So what else we got here? War stock. Oh my God! Look at this. Lockheed Martin up $4.50 a share to 444, 445. Lockheed Martin, the military-industrial complex leader, the one providing the guns and the bombs and the planes for the Great War that we're watching. Raytheon up 50 cents. Boeing they need to build better bombs or something, or better planes for the war that's coming, right? It's because they're down 90 cents. Pfizer. How's the shot stocks? The shot in your arm stocks, the holy vaccine stocks, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna. We watch these to see the next move on the vaccine. Is it up or down? Is it in or out? Moderna down 2.25, Johnson & Johnson up 28 cents, Pfizer up 15. And so there you go, man. So I guess the big news on the market today, NASDAQ futures. Oh, wait a minute. That's the futures. What's the market? Yeah, the NASDAQ, I said that the Dow is up. The Dow has turned red, excuse me. Dow is 58 down. NASDAQ pushing 200, pushing down 200 right now. And S&P 500 down 39. So earnings on the horizon. Wall Street is not liking it. It looks like they're heading for the gate there. So thank you all for joining me. Mark Sconti reporting. It is interesting. I know in politics we take sides. We do it consciously. We do it unconsciously. I'm on the side of Trump. I'm on the side of Biden. I'm on the side of Tlaib. I'm with Israel. I'm with Palestine. Right. We should be objective and be with the truth. Right. So Tlaib, the squad member, has done a very good deed for America by suggesting that we should investigate at a bare minimum, just look into, try to find independent people to have a look at what happened in this one situation. So going forward, right, or you know what, U.S. government, stop fucking lying to the people, right? Stop bullshitting people. Maybe they'll believe you, right? It's crazy, but I don't know, man. So I'm an anti-Semite. I supported Rashid. I supported Tlaib. That makes me an anti-Semite and an anti-Jew. I'm a lonely Hindu singing Hare Krishna in my garage. See you guys tomorrow.